Welcome to tonight's episode of Ginger Bros Dent Show. We're your hosts, Brandon Schmitz and Andy Patrick. We've got another amazing lineup tonight. Please help us welcome Mr. James Ricci with Black Pelican Media. James is not only an incredible technician for Dent Wizard in Florida, he's also one of the most amazing videographers I've ever seen. So join us right now as we get to know James just a little bit better outside of the PDR world. What is up?
What's up, everybody?
Oh man, we have had a very exciting, about an hour before the show. So
it's been stupid. Is what it's been.
I wish we would have been live on the whole thing, because everybody would have cracked up like us. So Andy had a snake inside the shop, and yeah,
Man, it's got like focused on the snake, then focused on me. Where I'm standing back a mile from her. Like, nope. My wife had to come to the shop and get the snake out of the shop because I'm definitely scared. I hate them. It's one thing. I ain't scared of much, but damn snakes, I'm out.
If y'all could have heard the whole thing, it was hilarious.
But ridiculous.
Look, I'm just glad it was you because I'd been the same way. So
yeah. I hope you're next.
Nope. I'll sick the dog on them.
Yeah, I ain't got no dog.
At least it wasn't a poisonous snake. It looked like a king snake. So,
yeah,
it's probably good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we got several people in here already, which we knew our number one fan would not be number one tonight. And
he's a little busy.
He's a little busy right now, Corey Nichols. So,
we got Tim Green, Mr. Dragos. Got Alex again. Thanks for tuning in again, Alex.
So, Josh
Bucknell.
Yeah. Josh Dragos. Okay. He won our last giveaway, which was about a month ago. And he messaged me the other day. He said, "Hey, just a heads up, I haven't gotten the package yet." And I'm like, I'm sorry. I forgot to send it out. So it's coming, Josh. I promise. It is.
What's up, Rob? Got all our PDR, our group text going on here. Everybody's watching on the group text. Everybody's checking in on James. Make sure you don't choke.
Yep.
He should be comfortable now. He got to watch me run from a snake and shit. So, like, he should be like, all good.
I told him, I said, you need to hurry up and get on so you can see this. So,
oh, it's ridiculous.
But then, looking at our setup here and then looking at his, it's like we're like backwoods camera guys and stuff here, and he's got this nice professional.
Hey, I got my shutty setup going on with the Sienna. It's a shutty.
You should have turned all your other lights off. It just had that one.
Oh, just the one on the logo.
Yeah,
I should have. No. I was trying to get the little shadow effect, but I only got so much to work with.
Andy's gonna be paranoid all night because.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be like doing this.
So hey, y'all be watching and look behind him up top, and if y'all see a snake coming down from the top, then just type it in here.
No, don't type it. Like
they can't say it.
Call 911. Do something. I'm out.
So first off, hey, we'll just go ahead and get this out of the way. We need to do this every time, but go grant StreamYard permission to see your name before making any comments. Or what we always see, you don't see it yourself, but all we see is Facebook user on our end. And that's why we kind of make fun of you. But, when you're typing it, you see your own name, but we don't see all that through StreamYard. So grant StreamYard permission. Let's go from there. So without further ado, let's get the man of the hour on here. Mr. James Ricci, he owns, Black Pelican. Black Pelican Media. Okay. So all the videos we've seen that he has done has actually been for Matt Boyette, and Matt's a good friend of ours. And y'all go check out that. And of course, James is going to give you, how you can go check out his stuff and maybe even do stuff for you. But eventually, we're going to get him to do an intro for us. But we've been working on that for several months, and we still
got one clip. Yeah, I did like forever ago.
So anyway, let's bring him on. What's up, James?
What's up, guys?
Look at that clear crisp camera and shit. Like, Jesus Christ.
You think he owned like a media company or something?
You would think, right?
Yeah, only variable is it's going to get dark back there, so we'll see how long this lasts. We'll see if we can take it all the way to black.
There we go.
Perfect.
Well, you can put a light on you or something.
It's going to get dark here, too, when the power goes out. We're supposed to get storms here in a little while, so that should be interesting.
Oh, nice. That should get loud, too.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be nice and loud. I'll just have to mute myself. I'll just sit here and smile and nod.
Oh, shoot. So what you been up to today, James?
Man, today was a good day. It was busy, but not too busy. Kind of like that perfect day that comes once every 3 weeks, maybe. Get a nice little, pretty easy hail car in there and a couple other cars. So, yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah, having a little hell car would be nice. What's this? You still have 40 minutes here? Yeah.
Of light. Yeah, he's right.
Darkness, Charlie Murphy.
Yeah, I know it's crazy.
What's up, Evan? You too.
That's our brother. Yeah, 250.
Have y'all seen that dude? I don't know if it's TikTok or Instagram or something, and he's like this country guy, and everything is 250. I do 250, and every time I see that, I'll think of
Evan.
Yep,
that's hilarious.
So, sorry, this thing was all bouncing around. So let's get a quick background, I guess. I know you said your story all kind of ties in together, but we can just kind of get a background of how you got started into the PDR world, and then we'll kind of move on from that.
Okay. Yeah, so let's start at I got married really young. I was 21 and my wife was 20. You too? How old were you?
I was 20. My wife was 21.
That's the South, man.
Yep.
That's it. If you can't legally drink at your wedding, you're getting married young.
Yeah.
We got to hurry up and cut this off. We got to go to school in the morning.
Yeah. So when we got married, we were both still in college. We were both going to college here in Jacksonville at the University of North Florida. And we both had part-time jobs. We were full-time students, living in a one-bedroom apartment for like $500 a month. And I say, like, that lifestyle, we had a pool, we had a hot tub, we had tennis courts. I mean, that was like the peak of our life, basically.
Assigned parking spots.
Exactly. So I think between us, that first year of marriage, I think together we, on our taxes, we made about $19,000. So that was how we were rolling. We were doing fine. But so about a year after we were married, we got pregnant. Well, my wife got pregnant. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I need to get a job, a real job. And at this point, I was already in the Marine Corps Reserves, but I didn't have a 40-hour-a-week job.
Yeah. So
I had this friend who's actually one of my pastors at my church named Matt Boyette. And one day he was like, "Hey,"
heard of her.
He worked for Dent Wizard, and he's like, "Hey, you want to come to work with me one day and just hang out and just see what it's like?" And I was like, "Sure." I'm getting a degree in healthcare administration, but I'll go. I need a real job actually right now. So I remember it. I remember we were at this Cadillac dealership here in Jacksonville, and a car pulls up, and within 5 minutes, this dude hands Matt like $100 and drives off, and I'm just like, what just happened?
Did you just sell drugs to him, or what'd you do?
What year was this?
Man, so I got married in 2004, so this is probably 2005.
Okay.
Yeah. So he got his grid board out, his yellow grid board that they used to use back in the day, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. He was, as of that moment, he was in my little world, he was the richest person I've ever met. Of all the people I knew, like, this guy makes more money than anybody I've ever known in my entire life.
Caller alert.
Yep.
It is crazy, Rob, like how the stories are. That's why I like hearing these stories of how everybody got in the business. It's you never know what you're going to get.
No. So then, man, I can't remember, how long after that, but I told him, I said, hey, man, if this company you work for is ever hiring, let me know. I want to work for that company. And so I don't know how long later, he's like, hey, they're hiring. You want a job? And I said, heck yeah. And then did a couple interviews at the Denny's. These Dent Wizard interviews are hilarious.
Mine was at McDonald's. My second interview was at McDonald's.
McDonald's
at the interstate out here, like 5 minutes away. They were coming through from somewhere. It was like, hey, you want to meet at the McDonald's? I'm like, I guess. Like,
that's
maybe we should have a show with just Dent Wizard guys on how the interviews went.
That'd be hilarious.
I would love that show. That'd be hilarious.
We may have to do that.
Yeah.
Oh.
And yeah. So I got hired and went to dent school, and my wife was pregnant, and I have pictures of us in at the St. Louis Zoo when she's big and pregnant at the Arch, and yeah, that's how it all started.
Sweet. And you've been with them ever since.
Yeah.
Rob said, I hope you got the moons over Miami.
That's funny. They got a grand slam.
Look, Evan was at Jason's Deli.
We need like Jeremy and them. Jeremy ain't even watching.
Jeremy was probably at hunting camp when he interviewed or some shit like that. I was about to put down a 10-point and no, that's awesome. And
yeah.
I guess you quickly found out that you could make $100 in 5 minutes like Matt Boyette could, right? Out of school.
Well, even before I went to school, he kind of set me up on, before I wanted a job or anything, he set me up on a door with the grid board, which when you don't know anything, you think, oh, well, that grid board is it makes the most sense out of anything. I'll be able to do that. And then, of course, I couldn't do anything.
Like, where's my tip? Where are you pushing that?
Yeah. You got to drag. That's how you find your tip.
Exactly.
Hey, well, let's go back pre-Dent. You were in the Marine Corps. So from what, 18 to what?
Yeah.
21?
It was a 6-year. It was a 6-year commitment. Like back then, when you join the reserves and want money for college, you have to sign up for 6 years. So awesome. I grew up in just kind of like a blue collar house. We always had food on the table. Nobody went hungry, but it was kind of like, you remember your parents having conversations about paying the electric bill. It was kind of like that type of situation.
Oh yeah.
I get it.
So,
same.
Yeah.
Yeah. We always had like my cousins and all that I'd always go over there because they had all the video consoles and had all the cable TV and the Air Jordans and all that. And, me, I'm like, my mom would buy shoes from Walmart and put a Nike sign on it.
Oh, no.
I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get laughed at school now.
Shoot. We went to the Tanger outlets, baby. Outlet shopping at its best.
Oh my God. Is that how you pronounce that? Tanger? I've always wondered what that's.
Yeah, Tanger outlets. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I'm learning stuff.
My mom, I'd be wanting them Wranglers. I was like, this ain't the Wranglers with the patch on the butt. Like, these are the Wranglers got the big patch on the waistband. Like, this ain't the same.
They're the rustlers.
Yeah. Do you remember back in the 80s or late 80s and early, like 90, 91, all that, when Guess jeans, the short blue jean overalls, So you had the guys version and then the girls version, and it was always just a different color triangle guest tag or whatever. Well, Mom finally got me a pair. I'm like, heck yeah! And they'd all, you'd wear it with the one flap down. She got me the female version. I had 3 sisters, and I didn't know, until I get to school, and all the guys got like the red guess, and I've got the green one. And
oh no, you found out quick,
dude. It was it was always like that, man. Always.
Yes.
But okay, rompers. Danny Hager said rompers.
or the MC Hammer pants and stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, James. This is how we do. We zig and zag all the time.
Yeah, I'm down for it. Just if I lose track, just remind me where I was. So okay, growing up, that's how we grew up. I was a decent student in school, but I didn't have it in my head that it was a possibility to kind of go away to college, and that's kind of like what all my friends were like. A lot of my friends were going off to college, and I didn't even think of that as a possibility.
Yeah.
So I just thought I'm going to go to school in town, but I didn't want to go straight to college. I wanted to do something, and when you have money to go off to college, you join the military.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I signed up for the Marine Corps Reserves, and back then, were you in the reserves too, Andy?
I was.
Okay, yeah. So it's probably the same, similar, but when you start, you go to all your initial training first. People are out there and their kids are wondering about this kind of thing. You go to boot camp. You go to your what they used to call Marine combat training when we were in. I don't know what they call it now. And then you go to your job school,
MOS,
and then you go. Yeah. So for me, that took about a year.
Mm-hmm.
So I graduate from Marine Corps boot camp on September 7th, 2001. So that was a Friday. You always graduate on Fridays at Parris Island, right?
Yep.
So that Tuesday, I wake up at my parents' house, and there's planes crashed into the World Trade Center. It was 9/11. So of course, I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, I have no idea what's happening. What's going to happen? A buddy of mine who I went to high school with, we were trying to go in on the buddy program. But the recruiter convinced us that we couldn't do that because my school started a week early. So he called me and said, "Hey man, you got to go a week earlier because your school starts on this date." My job school. Well, Andy knows. Anybody in the military knows those schools are starting every week, every 2 weeks. There's no.
Yes.
I guess he needed to make a quota. He needed to ship somebody off. So. My buddy and me didn't get to be in the same platoon in boot camp. He was still in boot camp when that happened, and he said that the drill instructors were telling him, all your contracts are canceled. You're all going to be infantry. You're all going to be bullet shields. Half of y'all are going to be dead within a couple of years.
Damn, son.
You know how it is.
Boot camp, son.
We're not even at war yet, but they're trying to tell everybody they're going to die.
Yeah,
that's just how it is.
Oh yeah, it's a huge mind fudge.
Yes, the whole thing. That's all it is. Yep.
Yeah.
I talked to a recruiter one time at a college fair or something like that, and for the Marines, and I was in great shape, but I had 3 heart surgeries growing up. Soon as he heard that, he said, "We don't want you. Ain't nobody good. Uncle Sam doesn't want you." I was like, "Well, screw you then."
Yeah,
but
you're good without it. You didn't miss much.
Yeah. So I just went to my normal schools. Everything was normal. I went back to check into my unit. It was in Hunter Army Airfield in Savannah, Georgia. There's a Ranger battalion there. That's pretty much, I think, the 3rd Infantry Division's at Fort Stewart. But when you're in the reserves, you kind of are in these little satellite places. It wasn't a Marine Corps base at all.
Yeah, mine was behind a technology center at like a college in Nashville. Just some weird little building. I'm like, all right, cool, let's do it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
And so I get done with that, come back, I check into my unit. So now it's just 1 week in the month, 2 weeks a year in the summer of annual training. So I do 1 semester of college, and then in my second semester, my unit calls me up and says, "Hey, we're getting activated. Report in, this date." And so basically all those classes I was in, I just withdrew from them. I didn't get any of those credits. Go to up to Savannah, because I'm still living in Jacksonville. And it was an air delivery unit. Have you ever heard of that, Andy? Air delivery?
No.
Yeah. So it's not part of the air wing. It's part of a landing support battalion. I'm really not sure why. But it's everything to do with personnel parachutes, cargo parachutes, and then airdropping any kind of supplies, vehicles, out of an airplane to troops kind of disconnected from supply lines type situation.
Huh.
So they activated us for the initial invasion of Iraq. So, man, I forget what year that was, but that was, I think, 2003, actually. 2003. So I did a deployment with that unit. We went to Kuwait. And so we were in the rear. I didn't see any kind of combat on that deployment, because we were back there rigging stuff up to drop to the front lines that were just advancing into Iraq quickly without, there's not established supply lines. Kevin Bird, you're welcome. Thanks for saying that.
Man.
Yeah.
Yes,
So did that deployment, came home. That is when I got married. So I met my wife in high school. I got married in that time. Y'all know that part of the story. I'll catch back up to graduating from Dent school, right?
Uh-huh.
So when before I went to Dent school, that unit in the Marine Corps got disbanded. So the Marine Corps decided they didn't need that many air delivery platoons. That got disbanded, and what they do in active duty, they would just send you to a different place with that same trade, and you would just continue your service somewhere else. But in the reserves, you're limited by whatever units are within driving distance of you.
Right.
So I was like, I'm tired of driving to Savannah once a month. I barely caught that.
Oh,
here you go. I'll throw it back up for you. Hudson's back in live action again.
I know. He's back on Facebook. Look at him.
You always fans.
Okay,
we miss Tansy.
Hey, look, Shuddy, I did it. Sorry about that.
So I check into the unit in my hometown, which is an amphibious assault vehicle unit. So Andy knows what that is. That's like, It's a vehicle that's only the Marine Corps has. No other branch has it. It's a tracked vehicle that you drive it off a ship, or you can drive it into the water. It's tracked, and then it also has jets on the back. So it's a boat and yeah. So I hadn't even checked into that unit. I went to Dent school, and then I was going to check in when I got back. And that unit had already, they did a deployment. They got activated, and they were on the front lines of the invasion into Iraq. So all those dudes are kind of already seen combat, and I was just a pogue at that point.
Right.
And so, but I did have jump wings and you get jump wings. And in the Marine Corps, once you do several jumps, you get gold jump wings. And so usually the only people that have those are people that are in recon battalion or force recon or MARSOC, but also parachute riggers get them because we have to jump the parachutes that we pack. Yeah. And so people kind of think you're cooler than you are when you have that.
Oh shit!
I got gold wings.
Yeah,
bitches. And
bow down.
So in the Army, they wear all kinds of badges on their camouflage. In the Marine Corps, there's only a few that they allow you to wear.
You know why? Because the Army don't like to iron their shit, so they just cover it up with badges. I had to jab.
Yes.
Got to jab it.
That's it. That's what we do.
That's right.
So when I'm in Dent school and I get an email saying the unit's getting activated, report in on this date. So this was kind of like right before Thanksgiving time. I go home. I'm there for like 2 days. I think I worked like a half day with Matt just because I was excited about it.
Right.
And then I check in, and now I'm on active duty again.
Oh God.
I still was at home for a little bit before they shipped us up to Camp Lejeune to do a workup. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't, right away. I was still at home for maybe a couple weeks, but man, that was crazy.
Your stories are way cooler than mine. I'm like, I went to Quantico for 2 weeks, and I went to the damn desert at 29 Palms for 2 weeks. That's about it.
That's the one thing I never did was I never went to 29 Palms.
Oh, it sucked ass.
Everyone
we guarded
says
ammo
how bad
out there
sucks.
For training. We was guarding ammo, which we had a really cool gunny, female gunny, and she's like, man, we're miserable out here. Like, I don't give a shit. Y'all kick back and relax and shit. So we actually got away with that when I was like, all right, cool. Because they separated me from the unit because we had to have like, people from each unit go kind of do that. And I was the lucky one. So they're like, just chill. I was like, all right, cool.
What was your job again? I forget.
I was 0151. I was an admin clerk in an infantry unit. So I was basically infantry with a laptop.
Yeah.
I had everybody come at me at the end of the month. I ain't got paid. I'm like, I'm a damn Lance Corporal. What do you want me to do about it? Like, talk to these staff sergeants.
I'll catch back up to this subject, but people sleep on admin clerks, but it depending on the unit you're in, if you're in the Marine Corps, you're carrying a rifle. If they need somebody to do something, you're getting pulled for that duty real quick.
Yep. And still got to worry about everybody's pay and shit. We'll see, Rob. Rob said he's got different troops to entertain. So
see you, Rob. Okay, okay. You want me to? The best Marine Corps stories are still.
Come on,
on the hopper.
Let's do it. I love it.
Okay, so
I'm enjoying shit out of it.
I get in this amphibious assault vehicle unit. AAVs, they call them Amtraks or tracks. I check into this place, and there's basically what they call line platoons, which are like the combat guys. So the AAV crewmen, everybody that goes on the AAV, maintenance guys, all the people that's their trade. And then what's the other platoon called, Andy?
I don't know. I zoned out. I was looking at David White's shit. I ain't gonna lie.
So all the cool people are in line platoons because that's the type of unit you're in. And then there's this other platoon in every Marine Corps unit with all the misfits called the headquarters platoon.
Oh, okay. Headquarters HQ.
That's where you were.
Okay. Yeah.
And so
I must have been in it because I'm like, oh, it's just normal shit.
Yeah,
what are you
were.
Shit bag.
So this is basically everyone who their job specialty is not whatever the unit specialty is.
Right.
And in the reserves, it's even worse because you have people that are coming from other specialties that have nothing to do with this unit.
Right.
But every Marine's a rifleman, so
Oh yeah.
and most of the time in the Marine Corps, you're not doing anything really that has to do with your job. You're just doing stuff, right?
Yeah, I was in supply for a while as
You're
an admin
clean,
clerk. I'm like, they were like, hey, you're gonna go supply for a while. I'm like, all right, like,
yeah,
whatever.
right.
Oh,
So
my goodness.
there's another big twist to where they take this Amtrak unit, and then they're going to cross train this whole company. Instead of doing Amtraks, we're going to do small riverboats. Okay, so there's this. The Marine Corps used to have these small boat companies or platoons. They were called raiders. They used to have these little boats, and they would kind of be part of infantry battalions or something. I don't know, but at some point they got rid of it.
Mhm.
But so there's this in Iraq. There's this huge hydroelectric dam in a town called Haditha. It's called the Haditha Dam, and this thing is like, this dam is not third world. I mean, this thing is huge. It was at the time, it was one of the biggest structures I'd ever seen in my life. So the Marine Corps somehow got tasked with providing the security on either side of this dam in the water. But they got rid of their small boat units. So now they have to, for every deployment, for every 6-month period, or 6, 7, 8 months, forget what it was, they have to train a new reserve unit to come do this job just for this short period of time. And so we went to Camp Lejeune, and basically all the amphibious assault vehicle crewmen, they all got trained on how to drive the boats, captain the boats, and be gunners on these boats. So they're like a 40-foot safe boat. Have you ever heard of safe boats? They make stuff for like the Coast Guard. So they have like this ballistic protection around it, kind of like knee high. It looks like foam. They're supposed to not be able to sink. So it's kind of like a Coast Guard looking boat, but there's a center console, but there's nothing's on the inside. Like there's no glass or anything. It's just like a center console fishing boat, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
Two machine gun mounts up front, one in the back. That's what it was. And it had 2 jet engines in it, jet motors, so it could go in shallow water. So that's what it was. So of course I'm brand new to this unit. They're not going to
my shoelace just touched my ankle.
You thought it was a snake again.
It scared the shit out of me. I ain't gonna lie. This snake's got me messed up. Sorry, James. It's just
That was the best part of this, was seeing you deal with that snake. So don't apologize.
So yeah, anybody that wasn't on here in the beginning, Andy had a snake in the shop and all the way leading up to the show, and Amanda came and saved the day.
I had to call my wife to drive up here to take a snake out.
Yeah. So now Andy's paranoid, thinking there's snakes all in the shop.
Yeah, if y'all see me looking like this, I'm looking for that son of a bitch. I thought he snuck up on me with my shoelace.
Goodness. So you had to be trained on running and
boats.
operating on these awesome boats, and
but of course I'm in this misfit platoon where they don't know me. They're not going to train me how to captain or drive one of these boats. It's kind of like a more tight-knit situation, and so I'm not getting picked to do any of that cool stuff. So I'm in this group that we get stuck training how to be basically infantrymen on these boats. So we learned how to do those inflatable ribbed boats, kind of like you'd see the SEALs drive around in with an outboard motor. We learned how to do those things. They were kind of just keeping us busy, I think. They ain't
gonna let you be still. They're like, we got to find some shit for these guys to do. Like,
did they train you to shoot while the boat's moving in the water? Or do they just throw you out
That-
there and say, "Hey"?
They did have ranges that they would take you to, but like it's not. There's nobody recording any kind of hits or misses in a situation like that. So yeah, we basically were training to be infantry guys on these boats the whole time, but we really didn't know what to expect. And we're also part of that headquarters platoon is all of the guys who drive trucks, which would come to be an important part of what ended up happening. I'll get to it in a minute, but so anyways, I'll fast forward. We go to Haditha. All the cool boat guys, half of them are at the bottom of the river, which it's the Euphrates River. What's up, Tim Walsh? Half of the boat guys are at the top, which with these huge dams, it just makes a huge lake. So they basically are at this beach situation, and they're on both sides of the dam. They're just doing patrols.
Yeah.
And what are they going to do with the rest of us? So at the time, this was 2006. I think we're up to. IEDs are like the big thing. Kevin likes boats.
We didn't know that, Kevin. That's a secret. Big damn secret.
He owns more boats than any Dent guy. We know.
His boats cost more than my shopping house put together, like all of them combined fleet.
He doesn't even sell old boats. He just keeps them and keeps buying new ones.
Puts them on the wall.
So at the time in Iraq, the big danger was the IEDs, which was like the improvised roadside bombs. And so they put everyone that's basically in this headquarters platoon. Okay, we're gonna do mounted patrols around the dam area to patrol for people placing IEDs and just to look for IEDs and stuff. So we're just gonna do mounted patrols around. So that's what we did while we were at Haditha. We're doing mounted patrols around the dam. And at the time, none of the boats had seen any kind of dangerous situation. And before the old unit left, they were still here. We're doing what's called RIP, relief in place. So you kind of go out with the old guys. They kind of teach you the ropes. And we find an IED and blow it up. And so it was crazy. The dangerous role ends up being the guys out riding around on these trucks because it's hard to put an IED in the water. Thank you guys for your service. Wow.
Sorry to hear that.
Right on, Facebook user.
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing that for a while. We're living inside this dam. Crazy experience, man.
Oh, I can only imagine.
And so the dam,
awesome.
Apparently this dam was built by people from a country called Azerbaijan. I'd never heard of it up until then. And so all of the guys doing security on the actual dam were from this country, Azerbaijan, because people from that country are supposedly the ones who helped build that dam. So it was kind of like a thing of national pride.
Yeah.
That dam was. And so you had these guys, these foreign guys, all around this dam that we were interacting with. Of course, all their weapons are different and everything. So that was kind of cool. And you start talking to people that you don't even know that their country, you never even heard of it
existed.
Right. That's crazy.
So we're there for a while, and then we get word that there's this town in the south of where we're at called Ramadi. That's things are kind of heating up there, and come to find out, if you have listened to Jocko podcast, that ends up being called the Battle of Ramadi, like this whole time frame, which of course, you know, nobody knows who Jocko is at this point. Nobody knows who Chris Kyle or any of those guys are. So, well, somebody in that area heard that there were these boats up at Haditha, and they said, "Hey, we're having a time down here. Things seem more peaceful up there. Can you guys come down here with some of your boats and help us out?" And so they took that company, which was already, we were already kind of, the boat people were kind of spread thin. They kind of couldn't leave where they were at because they were kind of on call, because there was no rotating. There was kind of just enough people. They split that thing in half. So half of the boats we put on trailers, and we took 4 of those boats down to Ramadi in Iraq. So all of this is in the Al Anbar province. So we trailer these boats down to Ramadi, and they're like, "Okay, we need you to kind of get ready to start helping us on these missions," where they're doing these pushes through the city, and people are just crossing the Euphrates River, and then there's a canal kind of on either side of the city, and so terrorists were able to just jump off, evade our forces on that. What's up, Will? On the canal on the river. So we get there, and
sorry, Will. James got ready for. I feel like we're doing an episode of 30 for 30 or something. Like he's all ready for it.
Okay, so we get there, and there are no boat ramps. There's no boat lifts. There's no way to put these boats in the water. So we had to scout the area, and there's also dams there, really small dams that the boat can't traverse. So you have to have ways to get into these rivers and canals on either side of them. So we had to scout a bunch of spots to try to find somewhere with a grade to where we could put the boats in and take them out. We find some spots. Well, this ends up being like at a couple of the spots, they were rocky enough and they were a good enough grade to where you could do it without any improvements. But on one of the spots that was kind of going to end up being our main spot, we would put a boat in a couple of these spots. You put a boat in, fine, and then you pull that truck and trailer out. These are 7-ton trucks carrying these boats.
Gotcha.
But then what happens is you put a boat in, you put another boat, you put 4 boats in, right? You're rutting that thing up. Then you go to get the boat out. Well, this is stuff we didn't practice any of this stuff.
Yeah, there wasn't no training for that.
So and this is not on a base. This is just out in random place, Iraq, where there's bad guys. You just go to this place, kind of set up a security perimeter, and like, hey, this is our boat ramp, for a minute, and then we're gonna bounce. But we end up getting just in a bog basically at one point, because you start trying to pull that heavy boat out. Well, all these guns, all this ammo, these guys, and they were getting stuck. And we had to get another. These are kind of confined situations too. It's not just a big open area. There'd be like a bridge or a road, and it'd be very limited. So it wouldn't be just as easy as, maybe hook another truck to it and pull it out. And that's ended up what we would do is we had to hook another truck to that truck, pull it out, but in very limited, tight spots. Like, it was a nightmare.
Oh, I can only imagine.
So this whole first part of us being there was like, all it was trying to figure out how we're going to get these boats in and out of the water. And so that ended up being kind of my main role, was helping to figure this situation out, because all the other guys are, I think I was a sergeant at the time. All the other sergeants are boat captains and other responsibilities. So I'm tasked with trying to figure this out. And what's up, Jeremy? So we also, there's nobody that's like an engineer, like a trained engineer that knows how to do anything. And we're not pouring concrete or anything. So we go through this whole trial and error situation where we pour gravel, like tons of gravel. And that works for a minute, but then it's too muddy in that gravel. It gets, so we come up with this idea of, we're going to they had these things called Air Force panels, or they were these aluminum panels that you can basically, they're probably 2 feet by 10 feet, and they link together. They kind of snap together like flooring, and you can create an entire airstrip like anywhere. So we're like, okay, well, let's get these things, hook them together, bolt them together, and then we'll get a machine to help to kind of set them in there. Well, guess what? We found out those things float. So we're just a bunch of clowns out here trying to, and people are asking us to come like support different missions, and we're like, we can't. We're just trying to get a boat in and out of the
water. I think I like the Family Guy with Peter Griffin trying to pack the car in, and like takes 500 times to try to get the boat in the water.
Do you guys? There's a YouTube channel and on Instagram that the guy sets up a camera across from a boat ramp in Miami. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, it's hilarious.
It's great.
There's one like drowning, like it's going underwater. They're just trying to get to the dock to get off. It's like, what are we doing? So I don't own a boat because I don't know what the hell I'm doing with a boat. So I ain't even gonna act like it and go buy one and tear it up.
So what year did you get out and come back and start on your Dent career?
Okay, so that deployment lasted 7 or 8 months. That was 2006, I think. Okay. So about a year had passed since I've been at school.
Okay.
So I came home, ready to get started with my career with Dent Wizard. Hadn't pushed a single dent, for the whiz. And I was gone from, I'd basically gone from home for like 14 months. And I didn't mention it, but we ended up having my first kid like a week before I left.
Oh shit.
So, at that point I was like, I'm not re-enlisting. Like I'm done after this.
Now, were you gone for a constant that whole time without any kind of leave?
So when I was in Iraq, I was gone that whole time. Yeah. But before we left for Iraq, we were in North Carolina at Camp Lejeune, and I did get to come home one time while we were there to see my son born.
Wow. Goodness.
Yeah. So I come back, and so I told you I knew Matt, but at this church, Matt was at this church I went to, but seriously, there was 5 or 6 PDR guys that worked for Dent Wizard. At like everybody that did PDR in Jacksonville went to this church.
Now they all work. Now they all work for Matt, except you.
So one of them works for Matt that back then was like 12 years old. The son of a PDR tech who he ended up working for Dent Wizard for a little bit, but yeah. So man, it was really the best situation you could ask for as far as like being mentored. When I got back, they were wanting to send me back to St. Louis to retrain. Goodness. And all these guys were like, no, you're not sending him to St. Louis. Like that's not even a question. And I'm like, dang, y'all just tell them like you just tell them that, and they're like, dude, you're not going to St. Louis. We'll train you here. And so I was like, okay, that's how this is. Kind of learned real quick the power structure of things, which is it's crazy. So man, I was just mentored by the best guys. A lot of those guys are now competitors in Jacksonville. Some of them work for Matt. A couple of them, Will that commented, he was at that church. He started working for Dent Wizard after me. I think there's one other guy, Matt's brother Mark. He still works for Dent Wizard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it was probably the best situation I've heard of in Dent Wizard as far as like people working together. Like there was, it was awesome. I couldn't have had a better situation and a better mentorship by all these guys. Yeah. So,
yeah, Matt called me before the show. He's like, James is nervous, and you don't seem nervous at all.
No. So we know you were married. Your son was born. You didn't really get to see him much. How many kids do you have right now?
I have 4 kids. Yeah. So
and
my oldest is
what ages?
16. Basically, they're all about 2 years. 16, okay. 14, 12, and 10.
Every 2 years you get bored.
And yeah, we got them all in a very short period of time.
How many boys? How many girls?
It was boy, girl, boy, boy.
Oh,
yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
I bet the girl's spoiled then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
And she's she's 14. Whoo, just wait.
Yeah.
Just wait.
Yeah. I know. I'm not
my oldest is 18. She's graduating, and my youngest is 10. Yeah.
What a close this.
He's got to fix his lighting.
It still look good with the,
I know.
But
man.
Yeah. We're getting some more of our crew on here.
Yeah. So tell us how Black Pelican Media. I want to get into that because that's obviously an awesome production thing you got going on.
Yeah. So man, it kind of started with it. There was a point where you guys have Google Photos where it kind of saves all your photos and you can scroll back through them.
Yeah.
So when I found that was so cool. I started putting all my stuff on there, and I was scrolling back and I saw a video of my oldest son as a little boy, and you could hear his voice, and I was like, oh my gosh! I think I was like, I should have been taking more videos of my kids when they were young. Like I'm never gonna get that little boy back. I'm never gonna hear that voice ever again. And then I was like, dude, I'm gonna start videoing everything.
All in.
So
like a light bulb moment.
That was like, I think the first thing I ever bought was one of those gimbals that hold your cell phones.
Yeah.
That was probably the first piece of like video gear that I ever bought. And then the next thing was probably a GoPro. And then it just escalated. Yeah.
I still got a gimbal. I got a gimbal and I still don't know how to work it. I'm like, I hit the button and it flips all around. I'm like, son of a bitch, I quit. It's at home somewhere. I gave up.
Yeah. So
that thing was cool.
Yeah.
What year did you start kind of getting into all that?
Man, it's so probably about 2017, maybe I'd say 2016, 2017. And then whenever I really got into like real cameras was I was just making videos, like travel videos.
Yeah.
Like the first real videos that I bought like the legit software. And so I think the first videos that were legit that I made were, we took a trip to Yellowstone. And so I just made videos of our trip to Yellowstone that I thought were cool. And one of my friends saw it and was like, "Hey, will you film my wedding?" And I'm like,
A
don't-
little crazy with this shit.
I don't think I can. I don't want that kind of pressure.
Yeah.
And so they're like, "No, it's okay. We weren't gonna hire a videographer, so if you mess it up, it'll be fine." And I was like, "Okay, I'll do it, but like I'm not gonna charge you because I feel like I'm not gonna get anything good. I would feel bad." So that came kind of I just started researching on just YouTube University cameras, lenses. That's kind of when I really got serious, because I was like, dude, I don't want to screw this guy's wedding video up. And so I just started renting like nice gear. I rented a really nice cameras, really nice lenses.
What cameras are you using?
So what the first camera I ever rented, it's the same cameras I still use now. It's a Sony A7 III.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did that wedding. They loved it.
Yeah.
I kind of, a lot of slow motion, kind of like a music video type situation. And then other people started asking me to do their weddings. And I was like, okay, like this could be something cool. And I ended up doing several weddings and making like really good money doing that.
Yeah.
But I actually having a blast. Like I loved every wedding that I've filmed. But like I'm almost 40 years old, and like I'm having less and less commonality with a 22-year-old bride, and this is who you're dealing with, and I'm just like, I don't want to.
We just want to sit here and take selfies of ourselves. And well, I had a still photography business, and I used to do everything from newborn sessions to especially weddings and stuff, and then I got so sick and tired of that same stuff with weddings and dealing not necessarily with the bride and groom. It was always the mama of the bride.
Oh my gosh.
Stuff like that.
Yes.
And
yeah.
So the last wedding I shot was for the guy's first wedding, the lady's second. They were in their 50s. Okay. She had a kid that was 18 graduating. So the man's mom, who was 80 something, was going to foot the bill for the, which to sign a contract. At the end of that day, I get the check or whatever for the rest of it. She comes up to me at the end of the, number one, I wanted to take the lady over right to the college right next to where they're getting married, because they have what we call the Isle of Oaks. It's just a street with oak trees.
Wow.
And tons. I mean, we get tons of. Anyway, she told me as soon as I walked in, she said, "You ain't taking her over there. This woman's 50-something years old. She can go wherever the hell she wants to go."
I'm like, don't worry about it. You ain't gonna have to see the pictures.
My
wife
about lost it, and I about lost it with the lady. Finally, I was like, okay, so we just left. But at the end of the night, the lady comes. I take the last shots of them in the limo and them driving off, and the old woman says, "Can I pay in installments?"
You got to get paid up front.
I said, "No, ma'am.
It's time to go."
So one of their best friends, we followed them to their house, and they wrote us a check out of their personal account. And then when they got back off of their honeymoon, they paid them back.
Oh,
and
wow!
I said, I'm done. So I stayed with doing ballpark pictures, baseball, and making great money there.
I feel like
I hate people.
I enjoyed that, and like I'm glad that I did that. Like those videos are, I love the things that I've made for these people, and they love them. But like I think the most entertaining part of that whole industry is getting in these Facebook groups and hearing people's stories about weddings. Dude, it is insane. And you think these stories are not real? No, they are common. Like the craziest things that you have ever heard happen at weddings. Right. It's a mix of family getting together, usually lots of alcohol.
Yeah.
Dude, it gets weird.
I take that back. The last one I did, I came out of retirement to do, was my cousin's wedding. And so they decided to not invite everybody to the wedding ceremony, but have a big reception. I didn't charge. They knew that. The agreement was, I said, I'm not charging, but I'll shoot it and I'll shoot the reception, but I get to drink all I want to drink. So at the reception, I walk up to the bride and I'm talking to her, and I have my camera in one hand and the beer in the other. And whoever's talking with her looks at me and says, "That's not very professional." I said, "What?" She's like, "Drinking on the job. I mean, you're getting paid." I said, "I ain't getting paid shit. This is my pay." I walked off and I'm like, "Shut up."
Wow.
Bonnie, don't be scared. Just don't be the people we're talking about, and you'll be okay.
Yeah,
Man.
Yeah, hire somebody to do a job just like they do with us. You hire somebody to do that job, let them do their job.
Right.
But anyway,
so the wedding thing, I'm having less and less in common with dealing with younger women, and I'm feeling, weird kind of being in those situations. You're kind of there when they're getting ready and stuff, and I'm like, dude, what am I doing? This is not appropriate. So back up a little bit. Dent Wizard actually paid for, after I finished my college degree, Dent Wizard paid for me to get an MBA. So I have a kind of a business background. So I'm like, man, I need to go more in this direction. I know way more about business than I do about weddings. I'm going to just go in this direction. I think I can be more helpful in the long run. But in 2020, whenever everything shut down, 2020 was when Matt Boyette left Dent Wizard and started his own company.
Yeah.
And he sent me a video. Man, I think it was a video that Mobile Tech RX had done, or I can't remember. It was a really well done video, and he said, "Hey, could you make this for me?" And I was like, "Heck yeah, I can make that for sure."
Yeah.
And he had another buddy who's like he's full time. Like he used to work in Hollywood for a minute. Now he's a full time, videographer. He's like, "Well, my buddy says, he's willing to do it for me, and this is what he'll charge." I'm like, "Dude, I'll do it for, just tell me, basically.
Yeah.
Just tell me what you'll pay me and I'll do it for you." I'm basically not doing anything right now.
That's awesome. Your videos are killer with him. I love them.
Yeah, man. And so really seeing what happened with that, how that helps him. And he says, like, if he can get somebody to click on his link on a Google AdWords, can click to go to his website, and they watch that video, he knows that they're calling him. Like, he's the one they're going to use to fix their dent. And so, like, whenever he's telling me this, I'm like, man, that's kind of cool. That's amazing.
Right.
So it's like, really got interested in just doing stuff like that, of like origin story type stuff.
Yeah.
To help people, put together in a kind of a cinematic and well told story of their business, of who they are and who their business is, and really seeing him have so much success with that was really kind of the start of me doing that kind of more seriously. Yeah.
But it's awesome, man. We love watching them and seeing. And I know exactly what video you're talking about. And dude, I mean, it's amazing.
That's the one I think I showed everybody. Like, I think you sent it to me or something. I was like, y'all gotta check this out. Like, this dude's for real. Like, it was awesome. I sent it to everybody.
Yeah.
And every time you do something else for Matt, then he'll send it to us, like in text and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
I like the
awesome.
one that
I
was
love
the
it.
guy fell off the ladder or something like that. It was like how
Man,
this can
I thought for sure. I'm like, dude, this is gonna go viral. But as far as I know, it hasn't. But I
Yeah.
don't understand why. That video is hilarious. The guy moaning.
Yeah,
That
He
was
I
was-
the
know.
funniest part of that.
You don't want to laugh at it, but at least he was all right enough to be like, all right, yeah, you can
Uh,
use it. Like it's, you know, he
Oh
laughed at
my
himself about it.
goodness. Yes.
Mandy, we
So,
haven't, but
No, you just gave it. Okay, well, now that she's
go
kind
ahead
of
and do it.
giving it
Man.
away. So yeah, we're gonna do a giveaway tonight. Our friends at Anson and our good friend John Vidine sent us some glue to try
Nice.
out and stuff. The
I've
new
been using
Dent
it on
Reaper.
Yeah, I've had a Hell card that I've used it on and a couple other things, and it works great. So
Yeah, I was testing it out yesterday. I didn't think I'd have something to use it on, but I was pulling. There's a 21 Tahoe, so the driver door edge, they opened it, and it, you know how it bends the edge of the door back. So straightening that out, and of course where the panel's glued, I was using that and to try and get that released back out to flatten it out, and it was pulling really well, really well.
So yeah, we were blessed for them to give us some, you know, some glue and stuff. So we want to give back. We want to get in people's hands. So this is a good way to get into people's hands, so we can get some unbiased opinions about it. I think it's perfect, but I also love John Vidine, so it's hard for me to not make an unbiased opinion about it. So
we're gonna send a pack of that out, of course, with some koozies, stickers, and then one of Anson's leather scented.
Those things are stout. Like I opened the box, I was like, "Holy shit!" Like it's leather. They smell good. It makes the car smell brand new. So
real quick, the question is, what branch of military was James in?
First comment wins it. Yep, it's also available on Anson Tool Van Biggs.
Yes, it is.
And I think if you order anything from Anson, you'll get a free pack of it too. But we try and give away two. So just tell us what branch James was in, and you win it. Oh, there we go, James Bernard.
Well, I know. Actually, Will was first.
Will. Yep, he sure was.
Will Garcia was first.
Nice.
Will actually gave me an original book copy of the Diary of Guadalcanal. Have you ever heard of that book?
Yeah.
This thing is like, it looks like it's 100 years old, but it's one of my coolest things that I have. So yeah, Will knows what branch I was in.
All right, Big said from the app you get a free pack. So order from Anson's app, order some tools or whatever, and you'll get a free pack of glue.
Yep.
So there you go.
So Will, I'll of course I'll get with you, or Andy will, and we'll get your
I don't have any koozies, so you got to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do it, and I'll be like Josh, Dragos, and it'll take me a month to send it out to you. So
I'll remind you.
It's just slipped my mind. And,
yeah.
So what I need to do is tomorrow is I'm going to make a point out of going and shipping Josh's off, and I'm going to send Will's out, and I've got two other things I've got to ship off too that I haven't done since MTE.
You might be on your way up here tomorrow. I don't know.
And hopefully, is it raining there?
That's rain right now, but yeah, it's about to hit. So
I didn't know if it was rain or snakes.
Guys, let me go ahead and turn my phone off. My family's fine, everybody. My family is fine. Don't check on them.
Oh man, yeah, Arkansas got tore up.
Yeah, we seen some pictures from some of that Corey Nichols hail. It's like, ooh, it ain't no Nichols hail. It's
pretty nasty.
Drago said you can put some glue in there.
I probably will, Josh.
Yeah, that's the least you can do since you made him wait like a year to get his shit.
I'll put some in there, buddy. No, I definitely will. But yeah, y'all, when you get it, test it out and let them know. So anyway, back to this guy down here.
So you're not just doing we know, but you're not just doing, like Matt Boyette stuff. You got some other companies you do a lot for too, right?
Yeah. I've done stuff for like real estate agents, other small businesses. Right now I'm working with an HVAC company. And it's a lot of it's cool. I mean, there's a lot of it that I like about it, but man, doing stuff for people in the dent business is definitely much more fun.
We're just dumb dent guys. We're like, yep, looks great, perfect, roll it.
So
yeah,
not trying to get like too much out of you on pricing, but just say that the initial video of Matt, if
yeah.
you're doing that now for another Dent guy, stuff like that, how much are you charging for that now?
So it would depend on the travel is really what it would depend on.
Well, minus the travel, just the
Yeah,
shooting. I mean, you know, where you would have to
yeah,
add on the travel fees and stuff like that, but
yeah.
just the video.
So if I just did that one video, probably
Mhm.
about $3,000
Okay.
for that. Yeah, for
And it's high quality. So,
yeah.
and like Matt said, he knows that when a customer clicks on that and watches it, he's going to get that customer in the door. So,
A lot of yeah, man. So, a lot of our I was talking to Kevin today, just our industry is so young that if you look at certain things, just like if you look at how people market, just how competitive we are, like as far as uh, how we're competing for retail business,
yeah.
we're still very in our infancy. Um, so
Yep.
if you there's some I'd love to give everybody just kind of some exclusive Ginger Bros tips on marketing their businesses. There's a couple that I see that there's just a lot of opportunity. One would be to do whatever you can to differentiate yourself from your competitors. If you go look at most websites, everybody's website is basically the same.
Yep.
So there is a lot of opportunity to differentiate yourself from a competitor because especially in the retail market of PDR, it's heavily driven by Google Ads. And so you literally have a few seconds to get somebody's attention to differentiate yourself before they're on to the next person. And if
Yep.
they usually if somebody has an established business to where they're confident enough to do retail work and they have a decent website, they're going to have the experience. They're going to have the before and afters. Like what
Yeah.
is it that's going to differentiate you from that other guy? And so thinking through that, thinking through, who you are, what your values are, and how you're going to differentiate yourself in the marketplace. Basically, it's you have all the opportunity in the world to do it. So it only takes a little bit right now
Yeah.
to one up your competition in that area.
And you gotta keep on top of that, as far as scoping the competition out and what they've got.
Yeah.
Like with me, I'm the only one in my whole area that's actually got a website,
That's crazy to me.
and I'm the only one
Yeah.
in my whole area that does high quality before and after photos and videos.
Wow.
So
That's amazing.
But
Yeah.
I stay on that because I want to make sure my customers know
Yeah.
what they're getting ahead of time. And
Yeah.
but yeah, like y'all, I mean, Jacksonville's a saturated market.
Yeah.
So it's you've got to stay on your game in areas like that. Me, it's a little bit different.
I've been loving TikTok. Like I love playing on TikTok and stuff. I have a blast with that.
Yeah, you're pretty funny. I've been liking your TikTok too.
It's called boredom in the shop. Like, and I'll just get an idea. Like my one with the little dent tool. Like I was sitting here working. I was like, I got little dent tools. I had just seen that video. I was like, light bulb, and I ran over and grabbed it and started did that video or whatever. I love it. My favorite one so far.
Yeah. And if you, a lot of people are in your
Dragos.
situation where there's not much competition and it's not that hard to stand out. But as of right now, in our industry, there are no big players putting money into that. The big players are not advertising for retail right now. And Dent Wizard is a huge company and they take a long time to change their strategies, but sooner or later that juggernaut is going to enter that retail market.
Yeah, I don't know why they haven't yet. Like they're all on wholesale, and I get wholesale is good money, and like volume, but man, that retail market, to have the money they have to push it with, advertisement and stuff, it'd be freaking huge.
If you think too, like if you got a big hailstorm, like I really wish I'd have known from my big hailstorm I had last year. If I'd have known about you then, I would have, if you take advantage of that and do a high quality video like that, really showcasing what you're doing at the moment with hail and all that, then the next storm that hits, people are seeing that ahead of time.
Right.
And they're like, I'm going to these guys, right here.
So your advantage now, Brandon, is like you don't really have any competition now, but you got to build your brand, knowing that 5 years from now, 10 years from now, there's going to be some major players spending some major money in your market. Yeah. But you have a head start to establish yourself before those big players start.
Let's hope by then that we can like expand and stuff. That's like talking with Matt Moore last week and stuff, and about his logo and all that. And I'm like, look, people, my logo is not made for marketing, but because I'm not trying to market my business as like expanding it and stuff like that. Compared to like Matt Moore with Easy Dent, his is a logo that he can market it for that specific thing, no matter where it's at. If it's in Atlanta, if it's somewhere else, in a different part of the country.
I'm gonna look your logo up. I forget what it looks like.
Mine's just my company. But it's not. Eventually, I'll probably rebrand. In a couple of years. And
I like that. I like that symbol, the Alabama with the cross tools over it. That's pretty sick.
And I've had that on my hat, and that may rebrand. But see, I've just been using that in the logo in the last year, so I want it to stay in there for a while, so people always recognize that, and then build it probably around that. But then again, that's not branded for a national thing. That would only be branded for the state of Alabama. But anyway, it's just
that's a cool. I always tell people, like, when you're trying to make a logo, if you can make a logo that would be cool on a t-shirt or a hat, then you're making a good logo. So basically, when you're trying to design certain things, just pretend like you're a clothing company and people are going to want to wear that symbol or whatever.
Yeah.
But your logo in general is not the best, but I really think that the Alabama with the cross tools is pretty sweet. That's I'd wear that hat. That's cool.
Yeah. I'd wear that.
Keep muting my mic so y'all don't have to hear this.
I'd tab that, as Hacker did.
Yeah. I'd tab that.
I'd tab that.
If you haven't seen on TikTok, Danny Hacker's going to finding dents on cars. He's like, I tab that TAB for the glue pulling and stuff. It's pretty funny.
So I see John Vadine's on here. Hey, John, we gave away some of your glue there, buddy. But yeah, I think anybody that's looking to get crisp, high quality videos of their business, of their stories, stuff like that, whether it's just for their retail location, or if they're mobile, or if it's a hail, that they go out and manage a hailstorm and stuff like that, they could really take advantage of what you're able to do. And I mean, it's well worth the money.
Feel like coming to Tennessee in a couple of days after we get our hailstorm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll pay you in hail cars.
On that, I'm trying to make this your longest episode.
I know. We figured.
I knew exactly what you was doing.
My name is James.
When you are trying to differentiate yourself, okay, this is not a random situation. Okay, this needs to be consistent with who you are, right? Because you don't want to fake anything. So for example, there's 2 different real estate agents that I've worked with in Jacksonville.
Mhm.
One of them is like a good-looking woman who kind of has an attitude, and she kind of, the strengths that she brings to the table are kind of like, she will fight for you. She's kind of, you don't want to get on her bad side, right?
My wife ain't in Jacksonville. She's in Tennessee, silly.
She is
God.
bad. Her brand is kind of built around that, basically like a meme.
Yeah.
It's it's emphasizing something that's, that's not really who she is entirely in her personality, but like, that's something that people can remember, right?
Yeah.
And it actually is consistent with who she is. Okay, so then I have this other guy who I actually helped him brand himself. Like, he was brand new getting into this business. He's a buddy of mine, and he is the total opposite of her. He talks, he's a talker, he laughs, he's funny. He had a lawn business, okay? He had a lawn business forever, invested his money in real estate, and basically was able to retire. And now he wants to be a real estate agent, but really his real estate investments have made it to where he's pretty much just working for,
just to have something
just
to
to
do.
have, yeah. So this dude always wears a fishing shirt. For as long as he's been a lawn guy, this dude's wearing a long sleeve fishing shirt. When he goes out, he's wearing a nicer fishing shirt, right? This dude's always got a fishing shirt on. He's handy around the house. He's helpful. Whenever this dude sells your house, he comes to your house and he'll help you put in flooring, or like, he'll pressure wash the house. He's like
the Weekend at Bernie's of that's what I'm picturing in my head, like Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's.
He's the nicest guy. So this dude's brand is his website, everything. He's the fishing shirt realtor.
There we go.
Total opposite. He's more goofy, right?
Yeah.
When people ask me for a realtor like referral, I literally send them 2 videos, and I'm like, watch these videos. You tell me who you like, and then I'll give you their number. So,
is he a ginger?
He's not a ginger.
Oh,
but he's.
Probably
Both of those people are kind of new in the business. They're always in like the top 3% of sales. They're killing it. Two totally different ways that they've differentiated themselves, and they're not serving the same people,
No.
So like, we all got to understand that, like, there's kind of tribes that identify with us, and it's okay if we alienate a certain type of person. But whenever someone can understand us kind of as a stereotype or as a meme better, they're more likely to feel safe with us and use us. So it doesn't need to be something that everyone likes. It's like, differentiate yourself, and then what ends up happening is, even the people that kind of don't vibe with you, they'll respect you, and they still might use you even though they are not really on the same page as you.
Well, it's kind of like our Dent business. You got those 2 different customers, the ones that are only care about price, and then those who care about quality. But sometimes you get the ones who want the cheap stuff. You can, because they see what you do, eventually you will get some of them. But I can.
Basically, you just need to have split personalities. You can just be both people. Which one do you need out of me today? I could be both.
Do a video with the half lady, half guy,
like the Michael Jackson or whatever back in the day. We had like
woman singing.
That's so
Lord.
funny. Well,
They're retarded.
actually, so y'all's Ginger Bros brand is actually really good. The
Thank you.
logo, everything, it's consistent. Like if you
Yeah.
look at this logo, you know what you're getting, right? And it's a fun show. You know, I think that y'all, that's the type of thing that I'm talking about. This is not like a lot of other podcasts, but it's not trying to be.
No,
Yeah.
we wanted to differentiate ourselves, and we found a niche, and it's something we enjoy doing. We like that niche that we're doing, so it makes it go a lot further. It was funny today, like I was setting up, I was putting the banner on the van, and I had some muchachos over here doing my drywall. And he came in, he's like, "Oh, that's you, that's you." I was like, "Yeah, that's me." It was funny. He's like, "I like it, I like it." I was like, "All right."
Sorry, Evan.
Yeah. I didn't say
He's talking about your people there, buddy.
Yeah, I said muchachos.
Well, I have people, because this is hanging on my wall in my office over on the side here, and when they come to pay or book an appointment and stuff like that, they're always looking at it and they start commenting on it. Oh, you got a podcast?
You know, that's a great accent.
Pretty cool.
That's what I'd like to have mine. I think I'd like to have a banner in my office somewhere whenever we get it going. I don't know if Amanda's going to allow that or not. That's her baby. But I think it's a good talking point. Be like, oh, yeah, we got a show. We care enough about the industry that we like to talk about it. My dad asked me one day, he's like, how much you make any money off that? I was like, no, Dad, it ain't all about money, dude. Like, enjoy doing this.
Relax, Dad.
Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all he worries about.
Okay, hey,
that's okay.
That's for more the retail focused guys. I have another tip for wholesale guys.
We know you still got about 4 minutes, so come on.
Yeah, I know you got a clock.
4 minutes. Okay, I'll talk slower. So this is an idea. I don't know if anybody's doing this, but if you're a guy that's more focused on wholesale, this is a thing that I don't know if anyone's doing this. So on LinkedIn, I don't follow a million Dent guys on LinkedIn, Kevin. I'll make more money. Yeah. Hopefully. So are you guys on LinkedIn? You probably have a profile, but you probably don't even look at it.
No,
I used to. I hadn't in a while.
I'll use social monials to post on there, like the same post I put on everything else will go on there, just to
just to be there.
Yeah. Your social media profiles like that can start ranking on Google too. So why not try to get them ranked right up there with your your webpage and stuff. So
yeah. So if you are doing wholesale, I would focus on LinkedIn. If you're going to be posting somewhere, I would post on LinkedIn. And don't post like you would post on Instagram or Facebook. Go on there and spend like 5 hours just consuming so that you kind of understand what stuff is popular on there. It's all business focused, So if I could come up with the best kind of campaign for a wholesale guy on LinkedIn, I would say create content that will be helpful to people in the car business, to general managers, used car managers, or just anybody in the industry.
Right.
You can do things that kind of educate them on the vendor side of it to help them be better at dealing with vendors, but also it's not even that complicated. You can do things that kind of glorify the industry that we're in, that kind of if you're at a dealership and you're talking to a detailer, maybe you talk to that dude and take a picture of him and then kind of just write like a few words and then tag that dealership, tag everybody that in that dealership, and kind of highlight this detailer because you think he's awesome or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like doing business focused content that's helpful to them, that shows them that you are part of that industry, that you're building into that. I think that your efforts are going to go a lot further, especially on LinkedIn, where you can search. You can search where who's the general manager of a dealership. Like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can figure out who all works at this place. And you can send those people. You can
invite. Yeah.
you can follow them and see what they like, and maybe you're kind of scouting these dealerships, and you're like, I'm never going to connect with this guy. This guy over here, I have everything in common with this dude. I'm gonna do this dude, whatever he loves. I'm gonna do something that just basically targets that dude, And so
Right.
just being very, very specific, and then in general doing things that will even lift up their specific dealership also. You go to their dealership. If you know a detailer there or a salesman, go there and take a selfie with that guy and tag the dealership and say, if anybody needs a car, call my guy over here, or whatever.
Yeah.
So anything that you can do to be helpful and to show them, like, man, this dude's bringing me value. I don't even know this guy, and he's helping promote the industry and my business specifically. So,
Well, even
That
if
is smart. I like
say you work on a lot of BMWs, and you've got a BMW dealership in your area. You may not do them, but say you can post stuff on there. Say, hey, we love working on BMWs. This is a great place to get a BMW. You just stuff like that. Yeah.
informational post like a BMW M2 is this, that, blah, blah, or whatever, specify it.
Or like Andy did today, when's the last time you changed a fuel filter?
Yeah, freaking James called me out. Good thing I got Google.
But
Yeah.
it's stuff like that just people will grab onto that real quick instead of it just being constant Dent stuff.
I got to give love. That was Jack Bucknell that he was doing my social media for a while, and he started doing posts like that, oil changes and like just to do, to throw out there like informational stuff that, it don't have to all be Dents, like change it up a little bit.
Yeah. The one way you could elevate that is if you went to, like, even if you don't, do you service any dealerships, Andy?
I don't.
No.
I'm all restricted retail.
Whatever even your local garage is, wherever you take your cars, if you would go there and do like a selfie video with your mechanic, letting him talk about stuff like that, promoting that dude's business,
Yeah.
that dude's going to reciprocate, maybe not, but you're doing the right thing, and you're helping your neighbor. And there's also, do you guys follow Black Rifle Coffee on social media?
Yeah.
I think I used to. I don't know if I've seen.
I don't look at Instagram, but I think I follow them.
Yeah.
But if y'all know who they are, but if anyone doesn't know who they are, they're a coffee company, but they're like pro-military. I think the guy that owns it is like a special forces Army guy. So they're basically, what they've turned that brand into is a media brand. Like they put out so much content. It's basically just pro-America.
Look, America AF,
dude. That what they did with, just kind of like the patriotism brand.
Yeah.
That whole thing is wide open in our industry.
And Heather.
There's a couple people doing stuff that glorify our industry, but it's wide open.
Yeah.
Well, you won the belt, James.
I know. I was looking for a bell, but I don't have a bell. Ding, ding, ding.
I thought y'all were gonna hit the red button.
In broadcast. No, when it's great content like this, man, we all like to hear all this. It's helpful to all of us. That's why our viewers are still up there right now.
Yeah.
It's not like it's slacked off. Yeah. So you're hit, buddy.
Just had a more comfortable chair.
I know. I got a dog that's.
I'm on my rolling stool today.
Ace woke up and he's like bumping the table and everything a while ago, and now biting my hand. And
so I tried my rolling stool this week, but my shock's worn out on it, so I've been going like this. I just keep dropping. Girl. Hey guys.
Why don't you pick up your dog and show us your dog, Brandon?
Oh, I can't pick him up.
No, he's a big boy.
He's too big? Oh, okay, there he is.
He's a German Shepherd. Say hey,
All
boy.
right.
Face.
Yeah.
Ace.
He's about 80 something pounds right now.
Nice.
I do have to pick him up, put him in the back seat of the truck. So he won't jump up in my back seat, but he'll jump up in the back of our SUVs and stuff. And he'll sell out of it, but I got to pick his lazy butt up and put him in there.
Yeah.
But
So I told so Black Rifle Coffee actually just went they just went public a few weeks ago or a month or so ago.
mhm.
And I told Paul Laputra, I said, dude, Black Rifle Coffee just went public. I'm buying some. You should buy some. That stock it's gone up to it's over doubled.
Wow.
It's kind of going up and down around basically twice its value. But I just do that. I felt like that brand. He's moaning.
He's like, come on, I'm ready to go.
He's like, you got Don Cavanaugh on again?
You saying hey? Huh? What?
Don was the one that held the record, so
Yeah. Well, the way that they branded themselves, I thought, dude, that brand is more than coffee. People buy their merch and everything, not just for the coffee, because they're pissed off about what's going on in our country.
Yeah.
And it is much more than just coffee. So I was like, dude, I think that brand is gonna go through the roof because of the political, because of where our country's at.
Have you ever heard of Red Line Steel?
No.
So they make like steel cutouts of stuff, like door hangers and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But he's an ex-military, the owner of it. In the last 2 years, just exploded. I'm talking about multi-million dollar facilities and stuff like that, and makes all kinds of cool, stuff to put on the walls and the doors, and but it just started out as one laser cutter, and he is but pro-military, very religious, lots of crosses, stuff like that. And I mean, just exploded. And it's just like Black Rifle Coffee. They found that one or two little things that people just love, and it's not really that they're buying the product, they're buying
the brand
and everything else. And so anyway,
yeah. All right, I'm ready to quit. You win.
Yeah.
Still gotta load my tools.
Wait, load your tools.
I gotta go to Vardens in the morning.
Oh, it won't be long. You'll quit doing all that.
No, I gotta take care of Vardens. That's my peeps. They're like family. So
you go once a week over there, or what?
Yeah, I usually go on Wednesdays, but I had the muchachos drywalling, so I couldn't go nowhere today.
Did they get most of it done, or what?
Yeah, they got one more coat to put on tomorrow. They said they'll have it finished tomorrow. They'll come over after I get back from Vardens.
Did they come out looking like you did the other day?
No, they was a lot cleaner. I don't know how they worked that
out. Because they probably have like vacuums and the poles with the sanders.
They had a power sander. I was like, I wish I'd have had that shit. But, no, they looked a lot better than I did.
All right. Well, James, man, we appreciate you being on, buddy.
Sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, man. I enjoyed it. Thanks for having me.
And all the
shop looks awesome, Andy.
Thank you. Hope it's full of cars after tomorrow, but I think looks like the hail's probably going south of us naturally. So,
well, I mean, you can still get stuff off of it.
Yeah, I'll take some stragglers all day. That's usually I almost would rather have that than the whole hailstorm. You know what I mean? Just trickling in. Come on with it.
I know. All right, guys. Well, hey, we appreciate everybody jumping on, and Will, congratulations, and Josh, both of y'all. I'll send you stuff out tomorrow, and I'll add some glue in your stuff, Josh. But y'all go to Anson. Whatever you buy, you'll get a free pack of the new Dent Reaper Purple Perfection
on the
PDR glue.
On
the app, yes. And the app just had an update today too. So, but yeah, y'all go on the app, buy something off there. Doesn't matter what it is, you'll get a free pack of glue. because it's not for sale yet. So we're going to try and get it out there to a couple of people, and maybe next week we'll have another giveaway. I don't know. It costs me money to ship everything. So
we ain't had a sponsor in a while. So
yeah, we need a sponsor. Anybody want to sponsor us? We may have one next month.
We got one for me.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. We're not going to say who it is yet.
Nope.
Black Pelican Media.
I know. I need to step up.
Black Pelican. Look, you can do an entire video for us.
Dang.
Dude, I mean,
No pressure.
but, we're not down in Jacksonville, so it'd be hard.
Yeah, makes it a little harder.
Maybe next MTE. We said that this MTE. We'll just get you to do it while we're down there.
That's a shit show. There's no way you're going to get like that.
All right. Well, again, appreciate you being on. Appreciate everybody watching.
Thanks,
James,
Thanks, guys.
I'm going to put you in the back room. We'll say our goodbyes here in just a minute. So,
Okay.
Peace out.
Good night.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us this week on another episode of Ginger Bros. Don't forget to catch all past episodes on Apple Podcast, YouTube, or Facebook. You can follow us on all social media to get updates for each show and anything else we have going on. Please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts to help this show grow. See you next week.